All the time I'm thinking about my people I left behind.
Free at last, liberated Kaduna train victims rejoin families after 6 months in captivity.
This Monday night, we are here. There's no road.
No way or canoe way as flood causes further restrictions along Lokoja Highway.
We shall never end the issue of dialogue as long as we are human beings.
We look forward to taking this journey with you to get Nigeria back on track.
On the campaign trail, APC, PDP strategize and canvass sympathizers. Appeal Court defers ruling till Friday on ASU suit. Good evening and thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I'm Naja Atutejani. Adiola Komiakiri will be joining us from Lagos in the course of this broadcast. Remember to follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. President Muhammadu Buhari earlier today in Kaduna met the recently released hostages of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack who were abducted by bandits in March. The group, comprising men, women and children, numbering 23, are the last set of victims to breathe the air of freedom unharmed after 6 months in captivity. The president, who attended the passing out parade of the 69 regular course of the Nigerian Defense Academy, made an impromptu visit to the military hospital where the freed passengers are being attended to, and thanked the Nigerian military for the brave services in securing the safe release of the hostages from the terrorist enclave. President Buhari also congratulated families of the victims for getting their loved ones back alive in fulfillment of the promise made by the government. The president, who was accompanied on the visit by the governors of Kaduna and Niger State, Senate President Ahmed Lawan, and the Minister of Defense Bashir Magashi, was briefed on the rescue operation by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo.
To which some individuals felt that they were behind it. But thankfully, the balance of the 23 are here.
Meanwhile, the relatives of the freed hostages of the Kaduna-Abuja train attack have applauded the federal government and security agencies for facilitating the release of their loved ones after 6 months in captivity. Suleiman Rigachukwu visited some family members and now reports.
The remaining 23 victims who regained their freedom are expected to be reunited with their relations after undergoing medical checks. Amina Jibrin says her release from kidnappers' den is another milestone.
In fact, very, very happy. I can't express my feeling right now. Yes, I'm very happy. We were not complete, but now that they are out, we are very happy, very happy.
Muhammad Sani Abdulmajid is among 64 passengers abducted in the train attack. He recalled the incident as horrific but thankful for being alive.
When I came back, all the time I'm thinking about my people I left behind. I feel sad. I'm not feeling comfortable at all. When I promised them as Imam, I advised them to keep praying Qiyamul Layl. And then I promised them I have never been a slave until I saw them out.
It is the same feeling of joy and gratefulness among relations of victims released recently, as well as well-wishers trooped to the residence of one of the released victims, Muhammad Mukhtar, in Rigasa, to commiserate with his parent and relations. While appreciating federal government and the security agencies for securing the release of their son and other victims unhurt, some members of the family prayed for continued security in the country. Credible sources confirmed that the freed victims are receiving medical attention at a military facility in Kaduna. Suleiman Rigachukwu, NTA News.
The nation's armed forces have been tasked to ensure that the successes recorded in the renewed battle against terrorism and insurgency across the Northeast Theatre of Operations are replicated in other security-challenged parts of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the charge at the passing out parade of the 69 regular course of the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna, saying terrorists would henceforth not be allowed to threaten Nigeria's sovereign integrity. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Still basking in the euphoria of the safe return of all the remaining abducted passengers of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack, President Muhammadu Buhari arrives NTA Kaduna to formally certify the enlistment of over 230 young officers into the nation's armed forces. It is the passing out parade of the 69 regular course of the military institution, and the president, bearing the burden of a nation, is here to not only count on their value, but also celebrate their willingness to serve Nigeria.
You emerge in an era of expanding global security threats. There is no better time to prove your valor and demonstrate the virtues upon which the Academy was founded in the defense of your fatherland. And I trust you to do so with uncompromising dignity and honor.
The president takes pride in the comprehensive and systematic acquisitions made by his administration in the last 7 years towards safeguarding and strengthening the security architecture of the country. He tags the armed forces as guardians of the nation to reciprocate by always getting prepared for the evolving and complex security situation and making sure that no terrorist can threaten Nigeria's sovereign integrity.
You must remember that the goal of the terrorists and insurgents is to destroy our reforms. Yours is to safeguard economic and military capability of the nation. Our interventions, and even where we dealt with saboteurs, were designed to prevent the collapse of the economy and revitalize the armed forces. And this is the legacy we are handing over to the next administration.
While stressing the need for collective efforts towards building a united and prosperous Nigeria, the president once again restated his commitment to peaceful and transparent 2023 elections. During the colorful ceremony, the young graduating officers who distinguished themselves in training and certified to be of good character, academically sound, unquestionably loyal, and courageous in the face of danger were given awards. NC Nweze of the Nigerian Army carted home the Sword of Honor as the best all-round cadet. And the young officers were formally commissioned and decorated with their new ranks of second lieutenant for the Army, sub-lieutenant for the Navy, and pilot officers for the Air Force.
Congratulations.
With its motto, loyalty and valor, the Nigerian Defense Academy, established 58 years ago, has so far graduated 21,140 officers, including 478 from sister African countries. From Kaduna, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And now to loyalty of another kind. The Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Bashir Jamo, has been speaking on the contributions of the agency to national development, describing government support to the transportation sector as huge and one of the biggest achievements of the present administration. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
The achievements of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency is hinged on maritime security, which Director General Bashir Jamo says is critical to the day-to-day operation of the sector. As he explains, security has helped to boost investors' confidence.
We try as much as possible to ensure that we inculcate the culture of collaboration cooperation, coordination, communication, and information sharing with all the agencies that are dealing with the issue of maritime insecurity.
Further commenting on the Deep Blue Sea project recently established by the President, the Director General says this has increased monitoring and compliance enforcement within Nigeria's exclusive economic zone, which has effectively tackled the challenges of piracy in the Gulf of Guinea.
Now that we succeeded to a large extent, we will now have to face the issue of oil theft.
The NIMASA Director General was guest at the 53rd session of the State House press briefing organized by the presidential media team headed by Femi Adesina. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has reiterated the imperatives for the participation of states and professional bodies in the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan of the federal government, aimed at reducing national deficit. This was at the inaugural Integrated Infrastructure for Development Conference in Abuja, with the theme, Creating Sustainable World-Class Cities in Nigeria, by the Nigerian Institute of Architects. Again, State House correspondent Jide Onifade has details.
It is day 3 of the Nigerian Institute of Architects conference with the theme Trends that Shape Architectural Futures. It is part of the ArcBuild Expo 2022.
And setting the agenda for national development.
This NIA Integrated Infrastructure Research for Development Conference programs is to provide the desired guidance for national infrastructure development.
We have not realized that to achieve these developments, it firmly depends on the vibrance, connectivity, and efficiency of the knowledge system we have.
Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, and other relevant agencies of government has to work closely with and receive inputs from professional bodies.
The nation's architects are considered a critical player in the built environment who will be working closely with all other professionals in the provision of solutions for national development.
And it is projected that by 2050, we'll have the third highest population in the world.
The country's population has risen from 45 million at independence to over 200 million in 2022. This, the Vice President says, must be put into consideration when discussing the issue of sustainable world-class cities and the socio-economic impact in the implementation of the National Development Plan.
I strongly believe that if there is synergy between the professionals in this sector, we will see even greater returns on our collective investments in the sector. And it's refreshing also to see this collaboration between all professional associations in the built environment and the pledge to take ownership of the National Integrated Infrastructure Development Master Plan and the National Development Plan. This is what partnership is about.
To officially present
the Vice President, joined by other dignitaries, unveils the NIA Integrated Infrastructure Research for Development Conference Handbook and also toured the exhibition ground from the Musa Yar'Adua Conference Center in Abuja. Jide Onifade, NTA News.
This is the network news on NTA. Stay tuned for more reports after this timeout.
Nothing should divide us. Nothing can divide us. And absolutely nothing will divide us. In our togetherness lies our strength, our
dignitaries, and members of the Federal Executive Council to the UNESCO Global Media and Information Literacy Week 2022 with the theme Nurturing Trust, a Media and Information Literacy Imperative. Date 24th to 31st October 2022. Opening session 24th October 2022 at the Banquet Hall, Presidential Villa, Abuja. Time 3 p.m. The other sessions of the Global Media and Information Literacy Week 2022 will take place at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer.
The Zenith Better Life promo is back, and it's bigger and better. You could be one of 20 lucky customers to win 150,000 naira every 2 weeks from now till January 31st, 2023. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account and maintain a minimum balance of 5,000 naira. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Critical military objectives of total defeats of the terrorists in the Northeast is already being achieved. Synchronized group and air operations have continued to inflict huge casualties on the terrorists, and they have been forcing many of them, including their commanders and emirs, to surrender in droves with members of their families. Whilst areas where terrorists hitherto had just some freedom of actions are being cleared, and socio-economic life is gradually returning to the most parts of the Northeast. As while internal displaced persons are now returning to their ancestral homes to start life all over in dignity under a safe and more secure environment.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
A new edition of TV Guide is out, featuring an impeccable personality with purposeful leadership. Alhaji Mohammed Meitakobi, the Executive National President of Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria.
In 774 local governments, will be able to put all our structures in everywhere. I'll be able to bring the retail members together, reconcile them to come and work for the progress of the association.
Welcome to a world of fun and excitement as we also present an assemblage of professionals in the media space. Some compelling NTA programs, current trends in the fashion world, ICT, sports, entertainment, and lots more. Get a copy at the vendor near you or any NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Thanks for staying tuned. We're talking legislative matters now, and the Senate is considering a bill for the establishment of a university which will evolve a unique perspective of archaeological studies to facilitate understanding of Nigeria's historical and cultural realities. It is the University of History, Archaeology and Education ACA Kwara State Establishment Bill, which has been subjected to public hearing alongside 4 other higher institutions establishment bills. Ignatius Nkwo reports.
Public hearing convened by the Senate Committee on Tertiary Education and TED Fund on the 5 bills. The committee highlighted the peculiarities of these higher institutions when established.
The viability and sustainability of this prospective institution is a shared responsibility for all of us.
For human capacity development, for a nation still in search of social and economic advancement.
The University of History, Archaeology and Education ACA Kwara State Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Lola Ashiru, is expected to catalyze archaeological activities around the first museum in Nigeria, ACA Museum, established in 1945.
And protect the indigenous knowledge systems of our Nigerian and African peoples
the beauty of African society represented in what I call the vestiges of our cultural heritage.
If federal government cannot carry it now, a state government can carry it. If a state government cannot carry it, even a local government can carry it.
The Federal University of Health Sciences, Azare, Federal College of Education, Jama, Bauchi State, and the Federal Polytechnic, Cabo, Kano State Establishment bills, sponsored by Senator Barau Jibrin, also received public input.
We are going to really support not only the establishment, but the sustenance of this university through community effort.
Establishing specialized universities, particularly University of Health Sciences, a great milestone in the development of this country.
Participants also supported the Federal University of Education Okene Kogi State Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Yakubu Oseni from the National Assembly. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
In the meantime, the House of Representatives has advised the federal government to significantly reduce tax exemptions and waivers for corporate organizations to cushion the projected 11.3 trillion naira budget deficit for 2023 as part of recommendations considered and approved during this Thursday's plenary, as contained in the report from the House Committee on Finance on the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper 2023 to 2025. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The consideration and approval of recommendations contained in the MTEF FSB report from the House Committee on Finance was the main business at plenary. The reduction in tax exemptions and waivers will enable more savings by governments, legislators say.
Waiver and tax exemptions for corporate entities have contributed significantly to prevalent budget deficit.
Placements of more revenue-generating agencies of government on cost of collections, as it is with the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Nigeria Customs Service, were approved. Agencies affected are the Nigeria Communications Commission, the Nigeria Ports Authority, and the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, among others. The affected government agencies will, as a test, have approvals to keep a percentage of collections as Parliament works to effect the amendments in the Finance Bill 2023. The House Committee on Police Affairs also submitted its report on the budget for Nigeria Police Trust Fund. In another development, the House Committee on Reformatory Institutions has held a public hearing on the bill seeking the establishment of the Nigeria Correctional Service Trust Fund.
The new framework proposed in this bill will base in the newly created Nigerian Correctional Services Trust Fund the responsibility and resources for training and welfare of personnel, provision of equipment and all other material and machinery necessary for the effective operations of the Nigerian Correctional Services.
The bill is demand-driven and legislative response to increase and continuous call for reform of the Nigerian correctional system.
The service is strongly supporting the establishment of the Correctional Service Trust Fund and related matters, not only to ease over-reliance on budgetary allocation and augment the deficient and unpredictable budgetary allocations in managing the service, but also to address the systematic problems associated with the management of offenders in Nigeria.
The bill seeks improved funding to the service to efficiently run custodial centers across the country. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
On the legal front, we hear the Court of Appeal in Abuja has fixed Friday, 7th October 2022 to rule on an application filed by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, seeking permission to appeal against the interlocutory ruling of the Industrial Court. The court's order for the lecturers to resume lectures pending the determination of the substantive suit forms the basis of ASU's bid to appeal the outcome. The three-man panel of justices headed by Justice Baraka Hamman fixed Friday to rule on the matter. The appellate court had earlier advised the federal government and ASU to settle the cause of action out of court in the interest of the nation. And news of the rising flood level in Lokoja, Kogi State is making the rounds as thousands of homes remain submerged, with a critical highway through the Murtala Bridge in Lokoja also swamped by the flood. This has clearly impeded movement along the route and has left commuters and trucks delivering essential supplies stranded for days. Abdullahi Mohammed reports from the Koton-Karfe side of the confluence of the rivers Niger and Benue.
Global warming kicking back, and the confluence of the two great rivers of the Niger and Benue overflowing.
I don't have the numbers of the level of the waters, especially at the river there where the Murtala Bridge is. But what I can tell you is that where I am here, about 5-6 kilometers away from Murtala Bridge, waters have taken over the road, the villages by the right and the left-hand side. Critical supplies from trucks here has been held here for 4 days. People are finding their way to their destination by all means.
The canoes been paddled through submerged buildings. Others chose to trek across. But the worst hit are people like Mariam, whose house has become a fishing ground.
I only cook in this place. Then when it is late, I'll find where to sleep. Then early morning, I'll come back.
A stone throw away one of the internally displaced camp. The innocent oblivious of the condition of the camp, which could trigger an outbreak of disease.
We used to carry one home or two homes we join them together to live in one class.
The bottleneck, miles to the Murtala Bridge, has stagnated the movement of goods and services for days.
This Monday night we are here. There's no road.
This is already sending shivers of supply shortages in big cities across the country. You may be wondering how we made our way. Motorbike. In Condolences, East Abdullahi.
Meanwhile, following the impact of flooding in Kogi State, the National Inland Waterways Authority is providing free boat services to stranded travelers in Lokoja and Koton-Karfe area of the state to ease transportation problems caused by the disaster. Francis Udojo reports that the gesture follows a directive from the Managing Director of NIWA, Dr. George Mogalu.
The effect of flood this year is massive, submerging houses and overtaking major roads in Ajokuta, Lokoja and Koton-Karfe local government areas of Kogi State. The situation has created difficulty for travelers from the south through Lokoja to the north, leaving families stranded and untold hardship on Nigerians. To ease the problem, NIWA, in conjunction with Boat Owners Association Lokoja, are providing succor in this regard to stranded commuters and in compliance with safety guidelines, which include use of life jackets, avoidance of overloading, overspeeding, and night sailing.
The level of stranded road users will have multiplied more than what is currently being experienced. If not for the services that NIWA is providing, we prefer to follow that of NIWA route, which is free, without any fee.
So, what about the movement? How does it go? What time do they normally leave here, and what time?
It's 2 hours.
Okay.
2 hours starting from 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock, 12, 2, and 4 is the last time of the movement, because we don't encourage night sailing.
NIWA, however, appeals to private boat owners to reduce the cost of transportation and not to take advantage of the situation to cause further hardship to the public. In Lokoja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
This is the network news on NTA. It's time to join Adiola in Lagos for more updates.
Thank you. To fully utilize facilities at the Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCAN, through collaboration and marketing the is need for upgrade of infrastructure and improved funding. Chairman of the House Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters, Honorable Sani Bala, stated this during an oversight of the committee to the institution. Lynn Deneke reports.
This visit of the committee members is to verify expenses made from appropriated fund, make observation and recommendations where necessary. Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Public Service Matters, Sani Bala, while applauding management of the institution for its resourcefulness, noted that the college needs to improve its revenue-generating profile to enable it run programs with little support from the federal government. He pledged the committee's intervention in addressing major bottlenecks militating against the institution's development.
We assure them that we will intervene with the committee of works to see how we can fast-track from the committee the progression of work on the road. We are happy to narrate that really there was some progresses, only maybe around 30 to 40% of the work remaining. Part of their issues militating against their overhead is the issue of power.
Director General of ASCON, Cecilia Gaya, said the institution, established in 1973, has trained skilled manpower while providing ancillary services to government agencies.
The facility is not being fully used. It's not being fully used. The governing board of ASCON has approved certain things to be done to create a hospitality hub out of these facilities, and we are working on that.
Since its establishment, the Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, a foremost management institution for the training of public servants, has steadily grown with impact and relevance to contemporary needs.
The Nigeria Customs Service Federal Operations Unit Zone A has intercepted 1,995 bales of second-hand clothing, said to be the single largest of such item impounded, while displaying the seizures, which also included a pump-action rifle abandoned by the smugglers. The acting controller of the zone, Hussein Ejibunu, says the customs has secured 6 convictions of people in possession of smuggled goods. Diana Ajale reports.
This looks like a regular warehouse for stockpiling items, but the entire consignment, majorly second-hand clothing, were smuggled here. The discovery of the location, which the customs explained is around the popular Lagos International Trade Fair complex, was aided by intelligence gathering. Apart from falling under items described as contraband, the acting controller of the Federal Operations Unit Zone A says used clothing could be dangerous to people. Hence, the ban exists to safeguard public health and safety.
It took us well over 7 to 8 hours to have this thing discharged into trucks and brought here.
This pump action rifle, 2 locally made guns, and 35 live cartridges were also recovered in one of the customs gun battle with smugglers at Idiroko after intense pressure.
We are still making frantic efforts to make sure we apprehend the suspects, because to align that type of suspect to be within the country, it's a very serious thing.
The seizure of 7,328 bags of foreign rice is spectacular to the customs. The good news going forward for the Federal Operations Unit of the Nigeria Customs Service is not just because 5 suspects were arrested in connection with various seizures in the months of September, but 6 persons are currently cooling their heels in correctional centers after securing their convictions. This is in addition to intercepting goods with duty-paid value of 622 million naira and recovering 107 million naira for under valuation of items. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
And that wraps up our contribution to Network News. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. The news will continue after this break. Just stay with us.
It's been a long day, and nothing could feel better than sleeping comfortably. So relax. You won't be bothered by leakage or irritation tonight. Huggies Dry Comfort has a super fast dry layer that quickly absorbs wetness for all-night dryness and comfort. So baby can wake up comfy and dry as the night before. And you keep doing great, Mom.
Now in a new look pack.
Introducing the Nigerian Marketing Awards. Celebrating marketing excellence in Nigeria on Friday, 11 November 2022 at the Eko Convention Center. Visit our website at www.nma-ng.com for more information. Entry closes September 30, 2022.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.
Bellingham goes on here for Brandt. Lovely feet. Brandt goes on and finds the Monsieur. It's found Wolf. Marius Wolf. Bukaka. It's Sadio Mane. The wait is over. The mother of all derbies.
SportyBet sponsors coverage of the German Bundesliga.
It's nice to know you're still watching the network news. The All Progressives Congress, APC, is touting its readiness for electioneering campaigns for the 2023 general elections. Gombe State Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahya, who is the Northeast Sub-Region Campaign Coordinator of the party, in a meeting with the Northeast structure of the party, says the APC is not just set, but strong as it enters into the campaigns. Emmanuel Akila reports.
It is the first meeting Governor Muhammad Yahya is holding with the party structure in the northeast sub-region after lifting the ban on presidential and National Assembly campaigns by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). He expressed confidence in the commitment of the executive at all levels in the sub-region, believing that no challenges would be unsurmountable for the APC.
We shall never end the issue of dialogue as long as we are human beings. Nobody is perfect. So whatever issue comes out, we shall thrash and sort it out. And I promise the party I will work in accordance with the dictates and conditions of the Electoral Act, and we shall work to ensure that we succeed.
Speakers at the meeting are confident that Governor Muhammad Yahya is the right man to champion the much-expected victory for the APC in the zone, pledging to be united in achieving their objectives come 2023.
What is specific and important to us is the fact that the governor of Gombe is actually the person that is coordinating the entire activity of the party in the entire zone.
The meeting rose with a sense of understanding of the need to put aside all grievances and a charge on every official to prepare their wards and constituencies for peaceful and robust engagement with the electorates to gain more support and victory for the APC at all levels. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
On the other hand, the People's Democratic Party says it is wooing voters at the grassroots as a strategy to gain significant wins at various polling units across the country. The PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar made this known during the unveiling of the party's Women Campaign Office in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf was there for NTA News.
This campaign office with the acronym SHE, standing for Security, Health and Education, is courtesy of Titi Atiku Abubakar, the wife of the PDP presidential candidate. The campaign office is to coordinate and evolve workable strategies towards the victory of the Atiku Okowa presidential ticket in the 2023 elections.
The struggle for the next democratic process is not in Abuja, is in your respective polling units. I want to thank you very much indeed for this beautiful edifice, but it must be accompanied with the results of your polling units.
We look forward to taking this journey with you to get Nigeria back on track through sustainable development opportunities for security, healthcare and education for women, youth and persons with disabilities.
Former Minister of State, Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Becky Ketebu Igwe, is Director General of the SHE campaign. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, is reassuring bank customers of the safety of their deposits with insured banks. The corporation gave the assurance during its special day at the ongoing 17th Abuja International Trade Fair with the theme Creating an Export-Ready Market Through SME Digitization. Leah Katong Babatunde reports.
It is yet another opportunity to take the message of safety of deposits to the public, and the Abuja International Trade Fair is the destination. The essence here is to sensitize the public about the existence of the Deposits Insurance Scheme, its benefits and limitations. Bashir Nuhu stands in the shoes of the Managing Director of the NDIC. He discloses 100% liquidation of 20 failed banks and called on depositors to come forward for verification and payments.
We paid those with sums over and above the insured limits of 500,000 and 200,000 for deposit money banks and for microfinance banks. Like I said in the MD speech, is that we have cases that we have paid over 100%.
The Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the host community say the action of the corporation is impacting positively on SMEs.
I'm happy to hear that even some of the shareholders of some banks were able to get some money back. Because, when the bank is in liquidation or a company liquidation, the shareholders are the last to be paid. But this one has even moved down, not the depositors, but even the shareholders.
They have shown their true love and the love that, when you are endangered and somebody comes to your rescue, I think you will love the person very much. They have exhibited it, and I believe with this, all the rural areas will be informed and they will come.
20 participants went away with various prizes in a raffle draw, with the NDIC calling on those who need their attention to approach them directly or call their toll-free line 0800 634 424 357. In Abuja, Leakating Babatunde, NTA News.
We'll now join Benny Adams for more on the business circle. Hi, Benny.
Thank you, Naja, and welcome to Business. The National Dialogue on Energy Transition, convened by the Nigeria Extractive of Industries Transparency Initiative, NTA, has come to a close with calls for engagement of all stakeholders in the sector to ensure the execution of a comprehensive and people-oriented energy transition plan.
We are having a significant share of the risks in Africa, but the reward is very little.
Nigeria considered gas as not only a transition but a destination for it, to fuel the power sector, to fuel the industrial and manufacturing sector, to fuel ease of movement of goods and services.
As we transit to clean energy, we have alternatives to stand by. We also need a plan that will define clearly what we are going to do with our gas and oil reserves, which are enormous and can sustain this country in the next 40-50 years if we're managed.
And the National Senior Citizen Center is engaging the capacity of older persons to grant them microcredits and build the capacity in smallholder farming and agri-business. This they hope to do by depending on business visa training to connect to value addition, off-takers, and markets that offer value for money.
To create opportunities, work schemes, livelihood programs, so that older persons will continue to engage and continue to earn income or supplement their income.
And in that vein, we are here in this hall with some of the identified crops we have and the off-takers that are willing. If we now make this happen, they are willing to buy this off. So you have no fear of getting involved into certain business if you now have an off-taker ready.
Well, that's business. Naja, it's over to you.
Thank you, Benny. The federal government is scaling investment in the education sector with the establishment of a 2.5 megawatt hybrid power plant at the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna. The project is an initiative of the Rural Electrification Agency to support the academy and ensure uninterrupted power supply. Haruna Mohammed reports that the groundbreaking ceremony was performed by the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi.
The project, to be sited on a 400 by 700 meters land, will provide additional 2.5 megawatts of off-grid energy to the academy. It is part of the federal government's ongoing effort of providing sustainable energy to federal universities and teaching hospitals in the nation's 6 geopolitical zones. Rural Electrification Agency is a body saddled with the responsibility of executing the projects. While performing the groundbreaking ceremony of the project at the military premier institution, Minister of Defense said federal government is taking bold steps to address problems impending growth and development of nation's tertiary institutions. Managing Director of the agency, Ahmed Salih Ahmed, noted that the agency will execute quality work that will stand the test of time.
By the time we complete it, we are going to have some dedicated female and obviously some male engineers as well that will be working hand in hand with the contractor during the O&M period, where they look to continue keeping the plant sustainable.
Board chairman of the agency, Dalami Mohammed Kurfi, described the gesture by the Buhari administration to invest in energy sector to enhance research and development in nation's tertiary institution as apt.
They don't have the guarantee of light. That's why we make this decision to make sure they have the available light every time because of the activities they are holding in this university.
The project is expected to be completed in the next 12 months is in addition operation and maintenance. In Kaduna, I am Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government is providing both virtual and physical infrastructure, which will stand the test of time in the transformation of Nigeria's digital economy. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, gave the assurance at the Galaxy Backbone headquarters, where he assessed the level of work at the ongoing office complex for the agency. Chimdima Undubisi was there and reports.
In the digital economy space, more than 2,000 projects and programs have been completed within 3 years. Others are nearing completion. One of such is the Galaxy Backbone headquarters, housing the National Data Center, where all categories of information for both public and private sectors are stored. This engenders e-government. Storage of national information on analog format is eliminated and classified files minimized.
The information now is your blackboard. So just imagine, for example, if you have your data and it is in the hands of maybe another country outside. So if they want to do anything on you, you are finished. The data center in Galaxy. That is a peculiarity, the protection of that data.
Minister of Communications and Digital Economy seems satisfied with progress of work here.
I'm very comfortable with what I have seen, particularly the quality of the infrastructure, because the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is more about infrastructure. The data center is in service now, so it is operational.
The twin buildings of 6 and 4 floors have offices and training centers where the young and old can acquire digital skills. As federal government pushes to achieve digital literacy for 95% of the population, observers say it is guaranteed to make trainees employable in the digital world. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
Nigeria has formally extended invitations to member states of the United Nations World Tourism Organization to the first ever global conference on tourism, culture and the creative industries to be held in Lagos between November 14 and 16 this year. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, extended the invitation at the ongoing 65th United Nations World Tourism Organization's Commission for Africa meeting in Arusha, Tanzania. Anthony Forson reports.
I wish to use this opportunity to invite all member states of this great commission to Lagos, Nigeria, for the first UNWTO Global Conference on Linking Tourism, Culture and Creative Industries. The event will be held at the National Theatre, which is the hub of Nigeria's creative industries and the symbol of Nigeria's creativity and culture. Recall that the National Theatre was constructed in 1976 as a focal point for the celebration of Nigeria's art and culture, and it hosted the second Festival of Arts and Culture, popularly known as FESTAC, in 1977.
Secretary General of the United Nations World Tourism Organization, Zurab Pololikashvili, said the global conference holds Africa's unity.
We look forward to hosting a first global conference on tourism and the creative industries in Nigeria in November. This will be the first time when we will promote together opportunities of African culture. African culture needs to be better and more presented outside of the continent. And when we are talking about culture, of course, we are talking about tourism. So let's use this opportunity and be together, united again in Nigeria, in Lagos. All of you, all your delegations, all your nice showcases how to promote tourism with the culture worldwide. The event will also form part of our ongoing commitment to our African members, most notably around our 2030 Agenda for Africa to make tourism a key part of economic diversification, one continent with a shared goal.
About 166 UNWTO member states, professionals, chief executives are billed to attend the conference. In Arusha, Tanzania, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Now let's take another break.
Good morning, Nigeria. Year after year, they have been informed, educated, and entertained of. When you needed information, knowledge, or an escape.
From generation to generation, the Nigerian broadcasting industry has worked tirelessly to serve you.
And now, this service will finally be recognized. Right? This November, broadcasters all over Nigeria will gather for the maiden edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards, an award ceremony set to reward hard work and unflinching excellence in the broadcast media. They have served and are still serving. It's time to say thank you. This award is organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BON. For more details, log on to www.tneawards.ng and follow social media handles at TNE Awards. Forget last season, forget the winners and the losers, forget every moment that stole the show, because this is a brand new season on Go TV, and it's going to be bigger and better than any season before it, with over 7 leagues and cup competitions, plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seats in the house this new football season. Get a decoder, Go Tenor, plus 1 month Go TV Max for 6,900 Naira only. Bigger season, greater football. Go TV. Love it. SportyBet sponsors coverage of the Italian Serie A.
President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with the family of former president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Ahmed Ibrahim Yakase, on the passing of his mother, Asma'u Ibrahim Yakase, who died at the age of 98. President Buhari believes that God blessed the matriarch with long life to accomplish many good works, especially in lifting others, urging the family to approximate her good deeds. The president prays for a peaceful rest for the departed mother, grandmother, and community builder. Meanwhile, the remains of late Asma'u Yakase have been laid to rest at Kano Farm Center graveyard. The funeral prayers held on the premises of Kano Emirate Palace this Thursday afternoon had many sympathizers, including the Emir Aminu Ado Bayero and other high-ranking traditional chiefs in attendance. Hajia Asma'u Yakase died at the age of 98 on Tuesday afternoon at her residence after a protracted illness. She is survived by 5 children, grandchildren, and many relatives. Shortly after burial, sympathizers visited the family residence of the deceased at Babarko Frankianawa Yakase quarters near Jelly Mosque, Kano Municipality, for condolences to the bereaved families. And that concludes the network news. Thank you for watching. Remember to keep supporting NTA against rape and rapists.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
From the largest television network in Africa, the NTA, we bring to you Weekend File, where we seek the views of experts, government functionaries, movers of the economy, and the ordinary Nigerian on developmental challenges confronting the nation in an era of diversification, the process that is meant to reinvigorate all aspects of our national life in education, science, technology, and innovation, agriculture, health, and other aspects of societal development. The Weekend File crew has the onerous task of articulating all the issues, ensuring that all perspectives are brought to the table. On the show, all things matter and opinions of every class count. Weekend File shows every Saturday at 9 p.m. on the NTA network service. It is your weekend companion and a destination for news, views, and analysis. It is unmissable.
This is the network service of the NTA. A new edition of TV Guide is out, featuring an impeccable personality with purposeful leadership. Alhaji Mohammed Mitakobi, the Executive National President of